I've just realized my filter has stopped running. It's been sitting for a couple of days and become stagnant. The live bacteria that was once in here has died and become anaerobic decomposition due to the lack of oxygen in this environment. It's the same sort of thing that happens in a sand bottom tank with no oxygen in the substrate. At this point, it would be very harmful for me to start up this filter without bleaching it and rinsing it first. I need to sterilize this filter before I can use it again. So I'm going to take it over to the sink and run it on bleach water, a mild 10:1 solution, for about 20 minutes or half an hour, and then I can rinse it and set it back up. The one thing I know for sure is that if I open this up, it's going to stink like rotten eggs and be very rotten. So I'm going to run it on bleach before I even open it so I don't get the smell into my apartment. Okay, so I'm over at the sink now. I'm ready to start up the filter. I'm going to add the bleach to the container and start it up. That's going to keep the smell from getting out. It's going to sterilize the filter. That should do it. So I'm going to run the filter on this for about 20 minutes or half an hour, and it should be noticeably whiter, and then I'm going to back flush it, neutralize it with a chlorine remover called Prime, and I'm going to set it up on the next tank. Okay, so at this point the filter has been running on the mild bleach solution, and you can see all of the black that was there before is now turned color and is a very light color. It tells me that the dead bacteria, the anaerobic decomposition that was occurring in the stagnant filter, has been sterilized, and I'm reasonably confident at this point that I can back flush this filter to get the bleach water out of it, and then I'm going to neutralize it with a chlorine remover, and I'm going to start it back up on the next tank. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to hook the outlet to the tap and turn on the water, and it's going to remove all of the debris that's trapped against the filter with the old diatom powder and all the bleach, and flush it down the drain. With the outlet hooked onto the sink, to the tap, you now turn on the water. We'll start flushing the diatom filter. You can see the powder is coming off the filter bag as it's being run in reverse, and everything is getting removed and flushed down the drain. This is one way I like to sterilize a stagnant filter and flush it to start it back up without ever having to take it apart. So now I've finished flushing the bleach water out of this filter, and I'm going to start it back up on a bucket and use some Prime chlorine remover. It's now got a bucket of fresh water. The bleach has been flushed out. I'm going to start up the filter and add about a cap full of Prime. This will neutralize any residual bleach that's left in there and make it safe to start up on the next tank. So I'm back at the tank. I have the filter that's been running on Prime in the water, which has dechlorinated it, and I've got the hoses into the tank, and at this point I want to prime the filter on tank water. I want to remove the tap water from the filter and replace it with tank water. So I'm going to try to take the hose and put it at a lower level, and it might start. Okay, so it started priming on itself. It's now taking tank water in. And replacing the tap water. Put my finger over the end and place it back in the tank. Take my finger off the end, and this filter is now primed on tank water, and all the bubbles are removed from the system. it's now ready to start back up on powder. Both the intake and the outlet inside a container full of tank water. I'm going to start the filter up and add the powder. The filter's now running contained inside the bucket. I've got a little over a cup, maybe a cup and a half of diatom powder, and I'm going to add it into the container. This powder is going to cycle through the filter, get captured against the paper filter, and create a micron tight filter. This will capture microparticles in the water that make it look hazy, and it'll also capture parasites such as ick. And make sure the powder is completely mixed. When this container goes clear, the filter is sealed, and I'll be purifying the water. I can let the intake and the outlet out of the container and let it run overnight. You can see it clearing up quickly already. Okay, so I can remove the intake and the outlet and let it out into the tank. And now purifying the water. You can now see that the filter is freshly filled with the powder. There's the diatom powder I'm using. The intake and the outlet can be positioned so that it captures and pushes the dirt around, stirs it up off the bottom, and directs it inside the intake.